Before you pack your bags and move to Trinidad, stop. Just stop, because what you're about to hear could save you thousands of dollars and possibly months of regret. In 2025, the image of Trinidad as a laid-back Caribbean paradise with cheap living is completely outdated. Right now, people are struggling, bills are piling up, and the cost of simply living day-to-day in Trinidad, it's leaving locals shocked, returning citizens overwhelmed, and tourists totally unprepared. So before you move, invest, or even vacation there, you need to see this, because Trinidad is changing and it's not cheap anymore. Number 1. Rental prices are skyrocketing in cities like Port of Spain, San Fernando, and Chaguanas. Rental prices have reached levels many can no longer afford. A basic one-bedroom apartment in a safe neighborhood? Expect to pay anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month. And that's not even fully furnished. Want something with air conditioning and parking? You're easily looking at 7,000 plus Trinidad and Tobago dollars monthly. In upscale areas like West Moorings or Valsayn, prices are touching 10,000 TTD per month. And these aren't luxury high-rises. These are average homes. Landlords are hiking prices yearly due to demand and inflation. So if you're coming from abroad thinking you'll save money living here, you might be in for a rude awakening. Number 2. Grocery bills will drain you. Here's what people aren't saying online. Food in Trinidad is no longer cheap. Imported items? Through the roof? Local produce? Not much better. Let's look at a basic grocery basket. 1 loaf of bread, $20. 1 dozen eggs, $30 to $35. TTD 1 kilogram chicken, 50 to 65 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. 1 bag of rice, 40 to 55 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. 1 bottle of cooking oil, 45 to 60 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Imported cheese or butter, $50 plus. TTD easily. And if you have a family, your monthly grocery budget could be 2,500 to 3,500 Trinidad and Tobago dollars or more. Some locals are even cutting back on meat and essentials just to make ends meet. Number 3. Utility costs. Keep climbing. Let's talk electricity. In 2025, the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, T&TEC, introduced revised tariffs, meaning most households saw their bills jump, especially those using air conditioning. A regular household running fans, fridge, lights, and occasional AC? Expect 600 to 900 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month. Heavy users? Bills have crossed 1,200 plus Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month. Add water, WASA, internet, and mobile data, and you're staring at 1,500 to 2,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month in utility costs alone. Number 4. Gas prices are no longer cheap. Yes, Trinidad used to be known for cheap gas, but in 2025, not anymore. Subsidies have been slashed, and with global oil volatility, prices have risen. Premium fuel, over $6.75 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per liter. Diesel, $4.41 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per liter. Super, $5.97 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per liter. This hits commuters, delivery workers, and families hard, especially with unreliable public. Owning a car in Trinidad now costs more than ever before, not just for fuel, but for maintenance and insurance too. Number 5. Restaurants and street food? Think again. Gone are the days when doubles were $5. Today, doubles, $10 to $12 each. Roti, $40 to $60. Fast food, KFC Royal Castle, $50 to $80 per meal. Casual dining for 2, easily 300 to 500 Trinidad and Tobago dollars with drinks. High-end restaurants in Port of Spain, over 1,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per dinner. Even roadside vendors have had to raise prices due to the increase in flour, oil, gas, and packaging. Number 6. Taxes and import duties make things worse. Thinking of shipping your laptop, clothes, or even furniture to Trinidad? Think again. Trinidad has some of the highest import duties in the region. Electronics, appliances, and even skincare products can be double the price you'd pay in the US or UK. And new customs processing fees in 2025 have made it more difficult and expensive to order items from Amazon or Shein. Delays, taxes, and surprise charges are now the norm. Number 7. Hotel and Airbnb prices. Surge in tourist season. Planning to stay short-term or rent via Airbnb. Basic Airbnb in a good location, 400 to 700 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per night. Hotels in Port of Spain or near Carnival, 1,000 to 2,000 plus Trinidad and Tobago dollars per night, and during Carnival, prices triple. Even small guest houses cash in. Number 8. School fees and supplies. Stress families. Concerned, empathetic parents in Trinidad are under immense pressure in 2025. Whether you choose a private school or public education, the costs associated with sending your child to school are draining families across the country. Let's start with private schools, which are increasingly viewed as the only reliable option for many parents. Tuition fees now range between 10,000 to 25,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per term, depending on the institution. That's not per year, that's per term. And many schools operate on 3 terms annually. So in total, you could spend upwards of 75,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per year, just for one child. Then, add the cost of books, which often need to be newly purchased each year. About 2,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per child. Uniforms, priced at 800 to 1,200 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per set, and most schools require multiple. Transport, whether it's taxi, private driver, or school van, expect to pay 400 to 800 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month. Lunch money or packed meals, that's another 300 to 500 Trinidad and Tobago dollars monthly. And don't forget devices for online learning, which schools now expect you to provide. Laptops, tablets, headphones, and those are all out of pocket. Even in public schools, which are technically free, parents still find themselves paying for contributions, fundraisers, PTA dues, field trips, and special projects. And in many cases, parents feel forced to buy private lessons or extra textbooks just to ensure their children get the quality education they need. It's no wonder so many families say they are choosing between education and survival. Some are pulling their kids out of school entirely, or sending them only part-time, because they simply can't afford to keep up. This is not just a financial strain, it's a growing social crisis. Number 9. Salaries aren't keeping up. This is where it hits the hardest. People are working harder than ever and falling further behind. In 2025, while everything is getting more expensive, wages in Trinidad have barely moved. The national minimum wage remains at $20.50 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per hour. That's about 820 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per week if you work full-time. Before deductions, in a month, that's around 3,280 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. And after you subtract NIS, food, rent, and transport, what's left? Let's be honest, nothing. Even for degree holders, trained professionals, and skilled tradesmen, the salaries are failing to meet the rising cost of living. A qualified teacher or nurse might take home 7,000 to 9,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars monthly. A police officer might bring in 8,500 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Private sector employees in marketing, retail, and sales often earn even less, depending on commissions. Meanwhile, rent alone is consuming 50 to 60% of their income. Groceries eat another 20 to 30%. Utilities? Another 10%. And transportation and childcare? That takes the rest. This is the new reality. People are working multiple jobs. Side hustles are now survival tools. Families are combining homes just to split rent. The math doesn't lie. Wages are standing still while expenses are running away. Number 10. The truth. Locals are living with go online. Look at Facebook, check WhatsApp groups, scroll through TikTok. You'll see hundreds of Trinidadians crying out, venting, and sharing their pain. People who once felt proud to live in this beautiful country are now asking, how am I supposed to live on this salary? When did everything get so expensive? Why am I working so hard, yet still struggling? In one viral WhatsApp voice note, a young mother said, I had to choose between buying food and paying my light bill this week. I chose food. And now, my lights are cut. Another elderly man in Tunapuna shared, I used to look forward to retirement. Now, I'm afraid of it. My pension doesn't cover half my bills. And then there are the returning nationals. People who left Trinidad decades ago worked hard in Canada, the UK, or the US, and returned home, only to find a place they no longer recognize. The shops they once loved, gone. The homes they could afford before, now triple the price. The dream of a peaceful, affordable Caribbean life, crumbling. The truth is out there, and the people living it are hurting. So, should you still move to Trinidad? This is the question you came here for. And here's the honest answer. Yes, Trinidad still has so much to offer. The music, the culture, the carnival, the ocean breeze, the doubles, the people. But you can't pay rent with vibes, and culture doesn't cover your light bill. So if you're planning to move to Trinidad in 2025 because you heard it was cheap, easy, or better than the US, you're not getting the full picture. What's the real picture? A country facing inflation, a nation where basic costs have outpaced basic income, a land of beauty and brilliance that now comes with a hefty price tag. So ask yourself, can I afford rent and food without stress? Do I have savings to survive price shocks? Am I ready for unexpected costs, like car repairs, school fees, or utility hikes? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to rethink, pause, or at least come prepared. Trinidad is not a scam, it's not a trap, it's not broken, but it is changing. And for many, it's getting harder to live here, not easier. So please, don't move to Trinidad until you see this, until you do the math, until you walk through the real numbers, until you truly prepare. Because this island paradise isn't just steel pan and sun, it's also struggle, it's sacrifice, it's survival. Come with your eyes wide open and your budget even wider. Because in 2025, Trinidad isn't cheap anymore. But if you're ready, truly ready, then maybe, just maybe, it can still be home.